like back then when people used to think about game development, they used to think about it as an absolutely amazing experience where a group of people or a group of friends come together, combine their ideas, and release an absolutely amazing game, and even make a lot of money on the side. But I feel like as time goes by, when people think about game development, they don't really think about it that greatly. You know, they kind of get a sour taste in their mouth, because I'm pretty sure we have all heard the absolute horror stories that people tell working for a game studio. And it has 100% shown, because the qualities of games has dropped so high these days. Like, most of the time when most games release, they're absolutely broken, barely even work, filled to the brim with bugs, and the developer is probably going to end up releasing an apology post on Reddit, or probably one of those very iconic Twitter posts where they go like, guys, we're extremely sorry that the game ended up releasing really bad, and they say an apology for it, and then they ended up making a claim saying that they're going to go and fix the game, even though 95% of the time they don't. Most of the time they see that, well, this game isn't really making money anymore, so they kind of just accept their losses and get up and leave. And all those people who ended up buying an absolutely broken game kind of just wasted their money. That's just the way it is. But there is one side of gaming which has probably the most failures. That easily has to be live service games. Everyone is trying to make a very successful live service game so they can make tons of money on it. I think we all know how much money live service games make. People keep on coming back over and over again to play brand new updates and buy a lot of microtransactions. Something that I feel like a lot of people don't know is that live service games aren't the most profitable games. There is something that makes even more money than them, and that easily has to be gacha games. Man, gacha gamers are probably some of the most weirdest group of gamers we can see out there. Most people just kind of know they exist, and we just don't understand them at all. They're absolutely happy to rather spend thousands of dollars on one video games so they can go and get their favorite character. Or if you're a free-to-play player, you have a sense of pride that you're literally spending hours of your life grinding video games just so you can compare to the people who spend money on games. A good example is like Genshin Impact. If you're a Genshin Impact whale and you just spend thousands of dollars so you can get all the characters and completely get all their artifacts, get all their constellations so you can have the strongest Genshin Impact character of all time, you're just absolutely gonna walk through the game. It's gonna be no challenge. But if you're a free-to-play player, you're probably gonna have to spend hours of your life grinding every single day, and you're still not gonna be able to compare to the player who spent thousands of dollars. But a lot of developers are trying to go and make gacha games because they want to make that Genshin Impact level money. They want to release a brand new anime girl and make $12 million. That's what they want to do. In the search of greed, you can make a lot of mistakes. And not so long ago, I probably ended up seeing one of the most biggest failure probably in game development history. And that has to be a game that was only alive for 2 days and then it automatically got shut down. And I am talking about Closers RT New Order. Now, you probably have absolutely no clue what this game is. You are 100% fine for not knowing that because, again, this game ended up shutting down in 2 days. But this was one game that actually a lot of people were excited for. It was based on an MMORPG, and they decided that they wanted to go and make a gacha game. So all of the gacha gamers in Wales ended up coming together, and they wanted to spend thousands of dollars on this game so they can go and get their favorite anime girl and make an awesome team of them, and then form an absolutely crazy parasocial relationship with a fake character. And if you're probably thinking that I'm making a joke and people don't do that, you are absolutely wrong. I say this a lot, but just go to any gacha game subreddit. One example that I'm going to use is Genshin Impact. Hey, I'm even seeing this with like Honkai Star Rail people, and they have people who talk about these characters like they're absolute real people. But a lot of people were excited for this game, and when it ended up coming out, it did not go good at all. The little gameplay that I could find of this game, people said it was absolutely terrible, and the game didn't really launch that great. They said it was just a really mediocre release. Like most games, a lot of people are willing to stick with it, even if your game released pretty badly, which is kind of weird, but hey, that's just what a lot of people decided to do. And the game ended up making a whopping around $19,000. That is not good at all, especially when we're talking about gacha games. Even medium tier gacha games, they still make a lot of money. absolutely crazy amount of money. A good example is a game like Uma Musume. This is a game that only released in Japan, and they make a lot of money. People go absolutely crazy so they can go and get their brand new characters. And that's a game that's only in Japan. For them to make this little amount of money, this game was basically a failure. But day 2, they ended up announcing that the servers were shutting down. Now, the reasons why this game ended up shutting down is probably one of the most embarrassing things of all time. The CEO of this company basically ended up just announcing that it's 100% his fault that the game ended up releasing badly. It was just him just being inconfident, and he also said that he didn't really look at the development of the game, which is just absolutely insane to me. How do you even do something like that? How are you a CEO of a company that makes video games and you somehow aren't looking at the development of the game? So when the game ended up releasing bad, you're absolutely surprised. How does that even happen? Like, should you be looking at every update of the game so you make sure the game released good so you can make money? Like, I think that's absolutely insane. There are literally people, the game developers, who spend hours, maybe even years of their life trying to make this game good just for it to be released, and it died immediately. It wasn't even able to run out of the door. You know, there's a lot of people who usually talk about how terrible gacha games can be. Like, one gacha game that's getting a lot of pies thrown at it easily has to be Tower of Fantasy. Now, this is a game that you probably heard of because when it first came out, they basically sponsored a lot of VTubers to go and play the game. The second the sponsorship ended, absolutely no one goes and plays the game anymore. It was basically just a Genshin Impact clone. I'm just 100% going to be honest. They saw that Genshin Impact was successful, and they were like, I'm going to go and do that. Hey, the game succeeded. You know, a lot of people are playing the game, but not anymore. But hey, at least that game still exists. I think it's almost out for 1 year, I think, or I could be completely wrong. Yeah, the game at least still exists. You can still go and play that game. You can't with this game. It didn't even make it day 2. That is absolutely crazy. This has to be like a world record of like the fastest a live service game ended up getting shut down. The last live service game that I can remember that got shut down extremely fast probably has to be Babylon's Fall. I remember that game ended up releasing. No one was excited for it at all. Like, we all saw the trailer of the game, and basically everyone just thought that, yeah, this game is going to be absolutely terrible. It's not going to be good at all, and it's basically just going to release and no one is going to care. And shocking to literally absolutely 0 people, that's exactly what happened. The game came out and it was horrible. Literally the only people who will play this game were literally just people who were trying to make content off it. If you weren't doing that, no normal person woke up in the morning and was like, man, I'm gonna go and buy Babylon's Fall and I'm gonna go play the game with my friends. This game was so empty that basically it was impossible to find matches, because like every live service game, if you want to do something, it needs to be like a match-made activity, so you need to like wait for people to come in and play with you. The problem is, there was basically no one there to go and play the game. But again, most of the time when stuff like this happen, at least the game will last for like a couple of months. You know, it's kind of funny that this game came out and just failed immediately, but it's also really sad at the same time, because I really do feel bad for the people who ended up making this game, you know, making concept art, hoping that this game's gonna come out just for it to fail immediately. And I also feel bad for all the voice actors who ended up voicing these characters. Now their performance is just never gonna be heard because the game doesn't exist anymore. This is just something that I wanted to talk about. My name is Lua. You have a good day or night. See you.